The incident under review involves an amusement ride and a resulting fatality due to electrical shock. Following the incident, 2 state inspectors and a fair worker have been charged with reckless homicide. Additional charges include involuntary manslaughter and dereliction of duty for the inspectors. The charges stem from an incident where an 8-year-old boy received an electrical shock while waiting in line for a bumper car ride. The core issue appears to be the improper grounding of the ride's electrical system. Proper grounding is a critical safety measure in electrical systems. Grounding ensures a low resistance path for fault current to return to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and energizing the circuit. This prevents dangerous voltage from being present on conductive surfaces that could be touched by people. In amusement rides, which are often temporary installations and subject to frequent movement, ensuring proper grounding is especially important. The electrical systems in these rides can be complex, involving numerous motors, lights, and control circuits. Without proper grounding, a fault in any of these components could create a hazardous condition. The role of the inspectors is to verify that amusement rides meet established safety standards before they are open to the public. This includes checking the electrical systems for proper grounding, insulation, and overcurrent protection. Dereliction of duty charges against the inspectors suggest a failure to adequately perform these inspections. The importance of regular and thorough inspections of amusement ride electrical systems cannot be overstated. These inspections should be conducted by qualified individuals who are knowledgeable about electrical safety codes and standards. The inspectors should verify that all electrical equipment is properly grounded, that wiring is in good condition, and that overcurrent protection devices are correctly sized and installed. In addition to grounding, other important electrical safety measures in amusement rides include proper insulation of conductors, use of ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCI, and regular maintenance of electrical equipment. Insulation prevents accidental contact with energized conductors. GFCIs are designed to detect small amounts of current leakage to ground and quickly to energize the circuit, further reducing the risk of electrical shock. Regular maintenance helps to identify and correct potential electrical hazards before they can cause an accident. Amusement ride operators also have a responsibility to ensure the safety of their rides. This includes training employees to recognize and respond to potential electrical hazards, conducting daily inspections of electrical equipment, and promptly addressing any electrical problems. The incident serves as a reminder of the potential dangers associated with electricity and the importance of adhering to safety standards. It also highlights the critical role of inspections in preventing electrical accidents. It is imperative that all stakeholders, including inspectors, operators, and manufacturers, work together to ensure the safety of amusement rides and other electrical equipment. The legal charges of reckless homicide and involuntary manslaughter indicate a high degree of negligence. Reckless homicide typically involves a disregard for a substantial and unjustifiable risk that death will result from a person's actions or omissions. Involuntary manslaughter often involves an unintentional killing that occurs as a result of recklessness or criminal negligence. These charges suggest that the grand jury believed that the inspectors and fair worker acted with a high degree of culpability in connection with the incident. The investigation into the incident is likely to involve a thorough examination of the ride's electrical system, inspection records, and the actions of the inspectors and fair worker. The goal of the investigation is to determine the cause of the electrical shock and to identify any factors that contributed to the incident. The findings of the investigation could lead to recommendations for improving amusement ride safety standards and inspection procedures. The incident also raises questions about the qualifications and training of amusement ride inspectors. It is important that inspectors have the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively evaluate the safety of amusement ride electrical systems. This may require specialized training in electrical safety, grounding, and overcurrent protection. The case also underscores the need for clear lines of responsibility and accountability for amusement ride safety. All parties involved, including inspectors, operators, and manufacturers, should understand their roles and responsibilities in preventing electrical accidents. The legal proceedings against the inspectors and fair worker are likely to be complex and lengthy. The prosecution will need to prove that the defendants acted recklessly or negligently and that their actions or omissions directly caused the boy's death. The defense will likely argue that the defendants were not responsible for the incident or that their actions did not meet the legal standard for reckless homicide or involuntary manslaughter. The outcome of the legal proceedings could have significant implications for the amusement ride industry and for the individuals involved in the incident. A conviction on the reckless homicide or involuntary manslaughter charges could result in imprisonment. The case also could lead to civil lawsuits against the inspectors, the fair worker, the amusement ride operator, and the manufacturer of the ride. The overall risk of electrical shock can be mitigated by several factors. Firstly, proper design of electrical systems. Secondly, adherence to safety standards. Thirdly, regular inspections and maintenance. Finally, education and training of personnel. Design should include appropriate grounding, insulation, and overcurrent protection. Safety standards such as the National Electrical Code, NEC, provide detailed requirements for the installation and maintenance of electrical systems. Inspections and maintenance help to identify and correct potential hazards before they can cause an accident. Education and training ensure that personnel are aware of the risks associated with electricity and how to work safely around electrical equipment. Several specific electrical safety measures are relevant to amusement rides. Firstly, grounding. Secondly, insulation. Thirdly, overcurrent protection. Fourthly, ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs. Fifthly, regular maintenance. Grounding provides a low resistance path for fault current to return to the source. Insulation prevents accidental contact with energized conductors. Overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers and fuses protect against overloads and short circuits. GFCIs detect small amounts of current leakage to ground and quickly de-energize the circuit. Regular maintenance helps to identify and correct potential electrical hazards. The design and installation of grounding systems must comply with the requirements of the NEC. The NEC specifies the size and type of grounding conductors, the methods for connecting grounding electrodes, and the requirements for bonding metal parts of electrical equipment. The NEC also requires that all electrical equipment be properly labeled with its voltage, current, and other relevant information. The labeling helps to ensure that equipment is installed and used correctly. The selection and installation of overcurrent protection devices must also comply with the requirements of the NEC. The NEC specifies the maximum allowable current rating for overcurrent protection devices based on the ampacity of the conductors they protect. The NEC also requires that overcurrent protection devices be readily accessible and properly maintained. GFCIs are required in many locations where there is a risk of electrical shock, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. The NEC specifies the types of GFCIs that are required in different locations. The NEC also requires that GFCIs be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. The investigation will likely focus on the specific details of the grounding system at the amusement ride. Investigators will examine the grounding conductors, the grounding electrodes, and the connections between them. They will also look for any signs of damage or corrosion to the grounding system. The investigators will also review the inspection records for the ride to determine whether the grounding system was properly inspected and maintained. They will also interview the inspectors and fair worker to gather information about their knowledge of electrical safety and their actions leading up to the incident. The NEC provides specific guidelines for grounding amusement rides. Section 525.16 of the NEC addresses grounding requirements for portable structures, including amusement rides. It mandates that portable structures be grounded in accordance with Article 250 of the NEC, which provides comprehensive rules for grounding and bonding electrical systems. Proper grounding involves connecting all non-current carrying metal parts of the ride to a grounding electrode system. This includes the metal frame, enclosures, and any other conductive surfaces that could become energized in the event of a fault. The grounding electrode system typically consists of ground rods, ground plates, or other approved grounding electrodes that are buried in the earth and connected to the electrical system. The purpose of grounding is to provide a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, to quickly trip and energize the circuit. This helps to prevent electrical shock hazards. The NEC also requires bonding of metal parts to ensure electrical continuity. Bonding involves connecting metal parts together to create a common ground potential. This helps to minimize voltage differences between different metal parts, reducing the risk of electrical shock. The investigation will likely examine whether the amusement ride's electrical system complied with the NEC requirements for grounding and bonding. Investigators will check the size and type of grounding conductors, the connections to the grounding electrodes, and the bonding of metal parts. They will also look for any signs of damage or corrosion to the grounding system. The inspector's responsibilities include verifying that the amusement ride's electrical system is properly grounded and bonded in accordance with the NEC. They should also check for any other potential electrical hazards such as damaged wiring, loose connections, or improper overcurrent protection. The dereliction of duty charges against the inspectors suggest that they may have failed to adequately perform their inspection duties. The prosecution will likely argue that the inspectors should have identified the improper grounding of the ride's electrical system and taken steps to correct the problem. The defense will likely argue that the inspectors were not responsible for the incident or that their actions did not meet the legal standard for dereliction of duty. The legal proceedings will likely involve expert testimony from electrical engineers and safety experts. These experts will provide opinions on the cause of the electrical shock and whether the inspectors and fair worker acted negligently. The outcome of the legal proceedings will depend on the specific facts of the case and the applicable laws. A conviction on the reckless homicide or involuntary manslaughter charges could result in imprisonment. The case also could lead to civil lawsuits against the inspectors, the fair worker, the amusement ride operator, and the manufacturer of the ride. This incident serves as a reminder of the importance of electrical safety and the need for qualified individuals to perform electrical inspections. It also underscores the need for amusement ride operators to properly maintain their equipment and to train their employees on electrical safety procedures. There are many other codes and standards for amusement rides. ASTM International, formerly known as the American Society for Testing and Materials, has developed a number of standards for amusement rides, including standards for design, manufacturing, operation, and maintenance. These standards provide guidance on a wide range of safety issues, including electrical safety. The International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, IAPA, also provides resources and training on amusement ride safety. IAPA offers a certified amusement ride safety inspector program that provides training and certification for individuals who inspect amusement rides. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, is the federal agency responsible for overseeing the safety of consumer products, including amusement rides. The CPSC has the authority to issue regulations and recalls for unsafe amusement rides. Many states also have their own regulations and inspection programs for amusement rides. These regulations may be more stringent than the federal regulations. Amusement ride safety is a complex issue that requires the cooperation of many different parties, including manufacturers, operators, inspectors, and regulators. By working together, these parties can help to ensure that amusement rides are safe for the public. Some areas to consider are the voltage levels used, the wiring methods employed, and the types of equipment installed. Understanding these aspects can provide a more complete picture of the electrical system and potential hazards. Amusement rides often use a variety of voltage levels to power different components. These may include 120 volts for lighting and small appliances, 208 volts or 240 volts for motors and other equipment, and even higher voltages for some specialized applications. It is important to ensure that all electrical equipment is properly rated for the voltage being used and that wiring is installed in accordance with the NEC requirements for the specific voltage level. The wiring methods used in amusement rides must also comply with the NEC. Common wiring methods include conduit cable tray and direct burial cable. The choice of wiring method depends on the application and the environmental conditions. For example, conduit may be used in areas where the wiring is exposed to physical damage, while direct burial cable may be used for underground wiring. All wiring must be properly sized and insulated to prevent electrical shock hazards. The NEC specifies the minimum conductor size and insulation requirements for different voltage levels and applications. Amusement rides also use a variety of electrical equipment, such as motors, lights, control panels, and safety devices. This equipment must be properly installed and maintained to ensure safe operation. Rotors should be equipped with overload protection to prevent them from overheating and causing a fire. Light should be properly shielded to prevent glare and to protect against bulb breakage. Control panel should be clearly labeled and accessible for maintenance. Safety devices, such as emergency stop buttons and interlocks, should be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Electrical safety is not just a matter of complying with codes and standards. It also requires a commitment to safety from everyone involved, from the designers and manufacturers of amusement rides to the operators and inspectors. Everyone should be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity and take steps to prevent accidents. The fair worker was charged with reckless homicide and involuntary manslaughter in addition to the inspectors. The fair worker's responsibilities may include setting up, operating, and maintaining the ride. If the fair worker was aware of the electrical problem and failed to take action to correct it, they could be held liable for the resulting accident. The exact details of the fair worker's involvement will likely be a key focus of the investigation and legal proceedings. All parties should be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity and take steps to prevent accidents. This includes following safety procedures, using appropriate personal protective equipment, and reporting any electrical problems immediately. The case should serve as a reminder to all involved in the amusement ride industry of the importance of electrical safety and the potential consequences of negligence. By prioritizing safety and taking the necessary precautions, it is possible to prevent future tragedies.